would like to welcome all of you first. I'm Daria Devlin. I'm the director of the Partnership for Erie's Public Schools, and I want to explain why we're in this kind of strange space. One of the grants that we're funding today actually is related to this area, so if you're wondering why we're sitting out here in the lobby at Lincoln, there is a reason for that, okay? So thank you all of you for coming. I really appreciate it. What I'd like to do today, just very briefly, I'd like to tell you why we're all here and recognize some of the grants we'll be giving away, and then Dr. Badams has a few words, and we'll keep it very brief. So the Partnership for Erie's Public Schools is a 501c3 nonprofit that was formed in 2012 to support the district. When we say support the district, we provide financial support and also community support as much as we can. And we identified early on that arts were really a main focus. So for 3 years now, we've been giving away mini grants to teachers in the district at a max of $1,500. We advertise the grants to all of our teachers in Erie's public schools, and then they're able to apply to us for different projects that they'd like to do. They're mini grants. It's not a lot of money, but we hope, even with that little bit, it helps them do something special that they wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. So we received this year, I believe, 15 applications for projects. We funded 12 of those projects that we're going to read out today at just over $10,000. So in 3 years, the partnership has given about $30,000 in these mini grants, which we think has really had an impact and allowed our kids to do things they otherwise would not have been able to do. I do want to recognize here today Deb Amatangelo. Deb, if you can just stand. Deb is the president of the board of directors for the partnership this year, and she's joined us today as well. So without further ado, I would like to read through the list. And when I read your name or your school, if you're here today, just stand, just so we can all recognize you. The first grant for $1,500 is going to Kelly Groner from Lincoln Elementary. Kelly and also Principal Johnson are here. Thank you. So they're going to be painting a mural on this back wall. I was told that Principal Johnson loves to greet the kids every day with the same saying, "Welcome to the happy place. This is where dreams come true." And so they want to paint that on this back wall with the help of artist Tom Ferraro. Tom wasn't able to join us today, but Tom's really involved. And Tom, I think, went to Lincoln, am I right? Or lived across the street?
Yeah, and he played in the playground growing up.
Okay. So Tom is really excited to do the project, and he'll be painting it for us. The second grant is to Christine Kern from Emerson Gridley Elementary. I don't know if they're here. They're going to be purchasing some handbells for a musical program that they're doing, and we read about it and it sounded really fantastic. Brandy Stevens from Wayne School and Gina Rulo from Wayne School are here today too. Their project is entitled Once Upon a Time, Imagination, Expression, and Literacy. It involves a field trip and some reading and artistic representation. Really cool, comprehensive project. Valerie Tubbs from Deal Elementary is not here today. Valerie project was also really interesting. They're creating sneaker covers, sneaker tongue covers. We read tongue wars and we didn't know what that was, but there are sneaker tongue covers that the kids will create. We're actually helping them buy a 3D printer to do that at their school, and then they'll have a competition where the kids are engaged in trying to sell these different products. So that was a really cool project. Joyce Moon from Perry Elementary is receiving $630. This is to take the second graders to see Peter Pan at the Playhouse Youth Theater. You know, field trips are one of those things that nobody really likes to fund. If you're a outside granting agency, often it's looked at with some skepticism, and the district's budget is pretty limited for field trips, but we think they're so important because for many of our kids, the only way they're going to get to the Warner or to the Playhouse is if the school takes them. So we really like to fund those whenever we can. Jill Crable from East High School. I know East wasn't able to make it today, but East is going to be doing a project called Integrity and Artistic Representation. It's a Medal of Honor. I know Dennis is here. It's a Medal of Honor project that they're doing in collaboration with Arts Erie, and we're helping them pay for an artist in residence that's going to be coming to the school to do that project. So we were thrilled to be able to do that with Arts Erie's help at East. Lisa Sisurski, I hope I'm saying that right, from Piper Burley. Lisa's project is an interdisciplinary art and free verse. Thanks, Lisa. I believe, are you guys taking a field trip as well? I can't remember exactly. Okay.
We have some connections with some authors, so we're going to be able to
Skype them in. That's right, Skyping in with the authors and then having the kids make their own representations. Very cool. Thank you for coming today, Lisa. Jamie Walker from Jefferson Elementary. We're funding Mini Society at Jefferson, and we're helping to fund Mini Society. That's a second grade project. It's really economics in nature. The kids create projects that they have to create a product, market it, and sell it to all of their classmates. It's very cool. We're going to help with the artistic pieces that are related to that. So we're funding 500. Jamie was really specific. 547.30 is what she wanted, so that's what she gets. Thank you for that, Jamie. Yeah, you should have. And then at the partnership, we really are committed to ongoing musical improvement in our schools. And we see that through bands, through choral departments, and through the All-City Marching Band. So this year, our funds were limited, but we really wanted to recognize those distinct departments because we really think that they're important to the future of music education in the city. So we're funding $500 to Donna Robb from Wilson for the choral department to help her expand her library of choral music. Thanks, Donna. Thanks for coming. We're also funding $500 to the Wilson Band. John Nolan was not able to make it today, but if you know John or what he's done, he's really working hard on the Wilson Middle School Band. So we're going to help him make some instrument purchases. And I'll just skip down as well. We're also funding $500 to Mr. Donch at the Erie All-City Marching Band to help them. We really believe in that marching band, and we want to help them as much as we can. They're the whole city's effort in that area, and so we really want to help them where we can as well. And finally, Stacy Murphy from Edison Elementary, and I know Principal Harper is here too. Thanks for coming. That's another field trip, which we really love. They're going to be taking their second grade, is that right? First grade, to see Fly Guy at the Warner Theater, and so we're helping them with that as well. I just want to mention how we fund these projects. Most of them come from our arts funds that we raise from private donors throughout the year. We also have a transportation fund. Because of these field trips that we know everybody wants to take, we've created now a dedicated transportation fund just to help with those costs. So some of the funds this year are coming from that as well. All of that is made possible by private donors. People from the community who have stood up and said, I want to do something to help the students in Erie's public schools, and they've committed their own private dollars to that. This is not taxpayer related. And so we think that's really special too. That's all I have. I'd like to ask Dr. Badams to say a few words. Thank you.
First of all, I'd like to thank Daria and the Partnership for Erie's Public Schools. Really, it was sort of the first foray for the partnership was to get into this world of trying to make projects that teachers had initiated possible when we couldn't fund them as a school district. And the initiative that Daria took personally, and then just the way that the partnership, the members of the board of the partnership have taken and embraced the mission of trying to supplement what we're able to do as a district has been wonderful to see, and to see it grow from about $7,500, I think, the first year to over $10,000 is great. And in addition to thanking the partnership, I also want to thank all the donors, people who value and see the importance of educating the whole child, and really to provide opportunities for students that have a chance of engaging them in ways that sadly our textbooks and our curriculum can't. Putting like a little bit of spark of creativity and imagination in the things that our students are doing. And it's funny, I've seen a number of these projects that are now getting funding, just thinking about the whole notion of the Read Bank, the work that Mr. Nolan did, and I know Mrs. Robson involved in writing the grant to Mr. Holland's Opus Foundation that was over $10,000 worth of brand new musical instruments, never thinking that there would be like consumable parts of those instruments that would still need to be funded on an annual basis. What a great way for the partnership to step in and help us. And what a great opportunity for those kids, many of whom were practicing, learning their music on instruments that were old and broken down in some cases, now having the opportunity to play with brand new, top-of-the-line musical instruments. Just one example of the great work that this funding enables. I want to thank Mr. Robbie Fabrizi, who's here representing the board today, because having an advocate for the arts on the board, on the school district board, makes this partnership with PEPS more effective. I don't have to ever worry about selling these sorts of programs to the board, because I know that all I have to do is turn to my left on the stage and I got somebody who will advocate for me. And it doesn't hurt to have someone who's a photographer and I would say a quite artistic doodler. I see what you do when you're taking notes. This is the sort of endeavor that I think our kids deserve, and I wish we could do so much more, and I hope that we'll be able to. I'm encouraged, looking at the diversity of projects that we're able to fund this time around. I hope there's some way we can compile all this and be able to show the community just what an impact it has. I'm somewhat jealous in that when I visit other districts or talk to other school superintendents or other staff, when I see the opportunities that kids have in better funded districts, to me it just seems like that's an ever widening gap between better resourced school districts and our own, where we're struggling to just pay the bills and keep the doors open. The gaps continue to widen because when we have to cut our budgets, the first things to go, unfortunately, are always those things that are those things that the state expresses as being less important. So if our assessments and our accountability programs are all geared toward our reading and math and arguably our science scores, then what happens to those other vital disciplines? Art, music, PE, even social studies and history. What happens to those things when you can't fund them fully and you have to essentially have a shock response where we shut down the things that are seen as peripheral so we can focus on those things that are seen as vital? I just argue, looking at what's important to us all in our spare time, if you think about it. I mean, what do we all do after we put in our 40 hours or 70 hours at work? We listen to music. We go to performances, we go to festivals, we appreciate art. Things that we do as pastimes are huge industries, and a lot of our kids miss out. So again, I could go on and on about this because I believe wholeheartedly that this is extremely vital, and hope that our state starts to turn its attention to these pursuits that are not frivolous, that are really important for engaging students, bringing out their natural creativity and showing them that there's a lot more to education than simply learning how to read and write. So, thank you.
I just want to finish by reminding all of you too, thank you, Dr. Battles, that the other reason we were here today is the first day of We Love Erie's Public Schools Week, and we couldn't think of a better way to kick off this whole week of celebrating all the great things in our district than celebrating all of you, the staff, and all these great projects that you've come up with. So thank you so much for coming today. We hope you have a great week full of all kinds of fun things, and this is just the first in that. Thank you all so much. Have a great afternoon. Thanks.